802 MAC sublayer. So what are the main primary operations which are performed by this 802.11 MAC sublayer? So we have three different primary operations which are performed by 802.11 MAC sublayer. So one is accessing the wireless medium, second one is joining the network, and the third one is providing authentication and privacy. So this is the diagrammatic representation for 802.11 MAC sublayer. So here MAC extent is there. So that MAC extent will support two different modes. One is called distributed coordination function and the other one is called as point coordination function. So these two are coexist and alternate. So PCF logically sits on the top of the DCF. That means this is the distributed coordination function. On this distributed coordination function, this PCF is logically sit. What is the main purpose for this point coordination function? So for this PCF is required for contention free services. So we already discussed some of the protocols which are dependent on the contention window. That means after the IFS, the data will be in contention window for some time. So during that contention window, again it will sense the channel. So to avoid that contention free, we will use this PCF. So we'll see in depth what is DCF and what is point coordination. Here we have three operations which are mainly performed by this 802.11 MAC sublayer. So one is accessing the wireless medium. So mainly the 802.11 is used in the wireless, so wireless networks. So in that wireless network, we need to access the medium. We need to control the accessing of the medium that will be taken care by this MAC sublayer. And second one is joining the network. One network is combined with the another network. So why this joining network is required? To transmit the data from one station to the another station. So this is also one of the operation of MAC sublayer. And third one is providing authentication and privacy. So whatever the data is transmitted from a sender to the receiver, definitely the data must be authorized one. That means the authentication must be required. So to provide the security, we will maintain the authentication and privacy, and that will be controlled by this MAC sublayer of IEEE 802.11. So wireless medium access. So how we will control the access on the wireless medium? Support two different MAC modes depending on the operational mode of wireless LAN. So for controlling the medium, wireless medium, we will apply two different modes. What are the two different modes mean? One is DCF, another one is PCF. So DCF means distributed coordination function and PCF means point coordination function. So what is this distributed coordination function? So this distributed coordination function mainly based on the algorithm, the protocol called CSMA-CA. So what is CSMA-CA? Carrier sense multiple access collision avoidance. So based on that protocol, this distributed coordination function is worked or employed. So here, how the carrier sensing will take place? Means we are sensing the carrier, we are sensing the channel, whether it is busy or idle. So how it will be done? Mean again it will be done in two cases. One is physically we are sensing the carrier, and the other one is virtually sensing the carrier. And coming to the PCF. So what is PCF? So PCF is mainly used for connection oriented, contention free services and connection free services and polling based. These are the main operations which are performed under the point coordination function. So we'll see one by one what is this DCF and what is this point coordination function. So the main operation which is performed, mean why we require this two modes, that is DCF and PCF, mean to give solutions to two problems which are occurred in the medium access control. So one is a hidden station problem and the other one is exposed station problem. So in wireless systems, all the stations, means all the stations are not within the radio range, means not within the radio range of each other. So we have n number of stations are there, and the n number of stations are not connected through a wire. They are connected to the access point, or they are connected to the network through wireless. So that's why uh, here two different problems will occur. What are the two different problems? One is hidden station problem, and the other one is exposed station problem. So this hidden station problem and exposed station problem we already discussed in the last videos. So here what will happen? The station is hidden from the other station because there is no physical connection between the station. Whenever two stations wants to transmit, so they even though they listen the carrier is idle at the same time. So due to the hidden problem, both the stations want to transmit the packet to the third one. So the data will be lost, not in the channel. So because the channel is individual to each station, but the data lost will occur at the receiver station. So that is the problems occurred in the hidden problem and exposed station problems. So these two problems will be solved by using two modes of operation, that is DCF and PCF. So we'll see what is DCF, working principle of DCF. So DCF means distributed coordination function. It does not use any kind of central control. That means if you consider the ethernet, if you consider the ethernet, it performs, mean it uses a central control system which will control all the devices, all the stations. So here there is no case of this central control system. When DCF is employed, 802.11 uses CSMA-CA protocol as the MAC protocol. So what is this CSMA-CA? CSMA means carrier sends multiple access with collision avoidance. Means before occurrence of the collision. Means after detecting the collision. We are means avoiding the collision before it occurs. So before occurrence only we are avoiding the collision. That's why the DCF is employed by using the protocol called CSMA-CA. So how it will works? So how it will works mean both physical channel sensing and virtual channel sensing are used. So two modes are supported by CSMA-CA. So we already discussed. So DCF and PCF will controlled by two different sensing systems. One is physical sensing, and the other one is virtual sensing. So here in DCF we are using these two modes for supporting the CSMA-CA. So how the physical channel sensing will take place and how the virtual channel sensing will take place. So we will see for that one. So first mode that is called as physical channel sensing. So how we will sense the channel physically. So here consider when a station wants to transmit a data packet, first it will sense the channel. So if the channel is idle, then it will start transmitting the data. It does not sense the channel during transmission. Means once the transmission is start, before transmission only it will sense the channel. Once the channel is idle, it start transmitting the packet, and while transmitting the packet, it will never sense the channel. So rather it transmits the entire frame, which may be destroyed due to the interference at receiver station. So here it will sense the channel. If the channel is busy, then the sender waits till channel goes idle and then transmits. So we have the cases when the station wants to transmit, first it will sense the channel. So if the channel is busy, then the sender waits till the channel is idle. Once the channel is idle, then it will start transmitting the data packet, and during transmitting the packet, it does not sense the channel. So here, for example, if collision occurs, so the colliding stations wait a random amount of time using the Ethernet binary exponential backoff algorithm and then try again later. So whenever the station sends the channel, so while sensing the channel, two stations found that the channel is idle. So both stations will start transmitting the data packet. So while transmitting the packet, they will never sense the channel. So what will happen? The station A will transmit the packet, means the packet is in the channel itself only. And for example, station C also transmitting the packet, and it is also in the channel, traversing in the channel. So what will happen? At any point of time, there may be a chance of collision will occur. So the if collision occurs, then the colliding stations, what are the colliding stations here? Station A and station C. So they will wait for a random amount of time by using the concept of Ethernet binary exponential backoff algorithm. So by using that backoff algorithm, they will be in waiting state for a random amount of time. Once the station is again idle, then only they will start transmitting the packet. So here we'll see what is the algorithm, CSMA-CA algorithm. So here in the first step, sends the channel. So whenever the stations, any of the stations want to transmit a packet, first step is they need to sense the channel. So here we have two cases. One is either the channel is busy or the channel is idle. So consider the first case. If the channel is busy, so that is the second step. So whenever the channel station sensing the channel, it identifies that the channel is busy. So what it will do? It will back off to try again later. That means that the station will be waiting for a random amount of time by using the binary exponential backoff algorithm, and after some time again try means again it will sense the channel. So for example, if the channel is idle, then send the RTS. So RTS means ready to send. So if the channel is idle, then immediately it will send the RTS. That is not the original data. That is only a request, means that is ready to send. I am ready to send a packet. So if CTS not received, for example, the sender station A sends a packet that is RTS, that is not the original data, just it is intimating to all the stations and the receiver also, I am ready to send a packet. So if the receiver is ready to accept that packet, simply it will send the clear to send CTS packet to the sender. So if CTS is not received, that means the receiver is not ready to accept any packets. So in that case, back off to try again later. So in that case also, again by using the back off algorithm, it will wait for some time, and again after some time it will try again to send the packet. So else send data. So for example, if CTS means the sender sends the RTS and the CTS is sent by the receiver, that means the receiver is also ready to accept the packet. So what will do? The sender station now starts transmitting the data. So send the data. So after sending the data, the sender station will expect for the receiver's acknowledgement. So if receiver's acknowledgement is not received, so in that case also again it will wait for some time by using the backoff algorithm. And if the acknowledgement is received, then it will transmit the next packet. So it will start transmitting, means it will processing for the next packet. So here we will maintain a value contention window. So what is that contention window? Once the data is transmitted, it will be taken place in the contention window. That is also a waiting state which is used to sense the channel again and again whether the channel is idle or busy. So what is the main purpose of contention window? To avoid the collisions. To avoid the collisions, we will maintain the value that is called as contention window value. So for example, if busy, then wait till the channel is idle. Then choose a random number between 0 and contention window and start a backup timer for proportional amount of time. So here we already discussed, when the channel is busy, then until the channel is idle, it will be waiting state. It will be in the waiting state. So where that waiting period is there, in a contention window, it will wait for some time, and again it will sense the channel whether the channel is idle or busy. So when the channel is idle, then only it will start transmitting the packet. So if the channel is busy again, then it will go back, means it will back off algorithm is applied for waiting a random amount of time. So if transmissions within back off amount of time, freeze back off timer and start it once channel becomes idle again. So what will do? So once the channel is busy, then it will use the backoff timer. That means we are freezing the backoff timer once the channel is idle, because when the channel is idle, the station will start transmitting the packet. Okay, this everything is over. Means if the channel is idle, then only we are start transmitting the data. If the channel is busy, then by using the backup algorithm, we are in waiting state, and after some time again we are sensing the channel. So like that the process is going on. Once the channel is idle, again the data is transmitted, and during the transmitted data, maybe some collisions will occur. So if the collision is occurred, then again the by using the binary exponential algorithm is used, and it will be increasing the value in the contention window. So like that, whenever the problem is occurred, simply by using the back of algorithm, it will be going back to the waiting state. So it will go back to the waiting state, and it will increase the value of counter. Means that is the second chance. We already discussed this one in the flowchart of CSMA CA. So while discussing about the CSMA CA only, in that flowchart we discussed, whenever the back of timer, mean going back to the back of timer, simply it will increase the counter value. That is nothing but it is again sensing. Means the chances are increased. First we will take the first chance to transmit the data. If the first chance is failed, then immediately we will increase the chance to second one. So like that we are incrementing the chance until we reach the maximum value. So this is CSMA CA algorithm. So now we'll see the distributed coordination function working principle. So here is the diagram. Here we have four stations are there, A, B, C and D. So here we are means physically sensing the channel. So we have two modes are there. One is physical sensing, another one is virtual sensing. So in the previous slide we discussed about the physical sensing of the carrier. Now we will move to the virtual channel sensing. Here we have four stations are there, and four stations, in that four stations, A wants to send a packet to B. That means A wants to send a packet to station B. Here station C is within the range of A, and station D is within the range of B. That means the station D is hidden from A, and the station C is hidden from B. So here A wants to send a data packet to B. What will do here? So first A wants to send a packet. It will sense the channel. If the channel is ID, means if the channel is busy, then it will wait for some time until the channel is idle. So once it finds the channel is idle, then immediately it will send the RTS. So what is RTS? Ready to send. So I am ready to send a packet to B. So that will reach to the stations which are nearby within the range of A. That means that will reach to B, and that will reach to C. But the same RTS is not received by D, because D is not within the range of A. Now what it will do? So once B receives the RTS, and if B is ready to accept the data, then if it is busy with other station, then it will keep calm. It will not send any CTS. But whenever the station B is idle and it is ready to accept the data, then simply it will transmit the CTS to A. and the CTS is received by D because the CTS B and D are within the same region. So CTS means clear to send, mean I am ready to accept the data from A. So that is known to D. So whenever the station A sends RTS, that is hereby station C, and whenever station B sends CTS, that is hereby station D. Because C is within the range of A and D is within the range of B. Now C and D both will understand the station A wants to transmit a data to B and B is ready to accept data from A. So now both C and D will apply the NAV. NAV means network allocation vector. So both are keep calm for some time because the station A and B are busy with transmitting a packet. So once CTS is sent to A, after receiving that CTS, so immediately A will understand now B is ready to take the data. So simply it will start transmitting the data. And after receiving the data by B, B will send acknowledgement to A. So why this procedure is followed? Data acknowledgement. So acknowledgement is giving the clear idea to A that the station B is correctly received your data without any errors. So in this way, the distribution coordination function will work. And another case is also there. What is that? So the another case is here a fragmentation of frames. This is DCF with a fragmentation of frames. So the fragments are individually numbered and acknowledged by using the stop and wait protocol. So in the previous case, once the CTS is received by A, then the data is completely sent, means the total data is transmitted to B. But here in this case, whatever the data is there, that data is divided into fragments, and each fragment means for avoiding the data loss we will maintain the sequence number to each and every fragments. So fragment 1, fragment 2, fragment 3, like that. So here the stop and wait protocol is applied for performing the action. So what is stop and wait? Once one fragment is transmitted and waiting for the acknowledgement. So once the acknowledgement is received, then it will start transmitting the second frame. And acknowledgement is waiting for acknowledgement, and once it is received, then again transmitted. That means stop and wait. So by using the stop and wait protocol, the data will be transmitted from one station to the another station by using this DCF fragmentation. So here, once the channel has been acquired using RTS and CTS, multiple fragments can be sent in a row. So see here the fragments are sent in a row. So first fragment 1 is sent and waiting for the acknowledgement, and fragment 2, next fragment 3, like that. So here sequence of fragments are transmitted to receiver station. This sequence of fragments is called as fragment burst. So whatever the sequence of fragments are transmitted to receiver station, that sequence of fragments is called as fragment burst. So fragmentation increases the throughput by restricting retransmission to the bad fragments rather than entire frame. So here whatever the complete data is transmitted, instead of transmitting the complete data, we are dividing the data into fragments, and each and every fragment is transmitted to receiver. So this is the best case. Why? By using this fragmentation, we will increase the throughput. So that means we will increase the efficiency of the protocol. So to increase the efficiency, we will divide the data into fragments. And here the NAV mechanism is considered in case of C and D, because C and D is not ready to transmit any data and not ready to receive any data. Both are within the range of A and B respectively. Now they will understand A starts transmitting the data and B is ready to take the data. That's why both C and D follows the NAV mechanism. So what is that NAV mechanism? Simply they keep quiet until the next acknowledgement is received. So here what will happen? So A will start transmitting the packet and B is start transmitting the acknowledgement. So like this, like that, the data is completely transmitted to station B. Once the data transmission is over, then again if any station, it means the C and D are waiting for the acknowledgement, that means the busy schedule of A and B is over. Once the complete of the means once the transmission is completed by A and B, then the acknowledgement is transmitted to other stations also, because they will understand the transmission is completed by the station A and B. So this NAV mechanism simply keeps the other stations quiet only until the next acknowledgement, but another mechanism is used to allow an entire fragment burst to be sent without the interference. So without the interference, the fragment burst means a sequence of fragments is transmitted to the received station. So this is all about the DCF mode. In this mode, there is no central control and stations, means there is no access point here. So directly the station A will transmit the data and B will receive the data. Here there is no central control is applied. So simply we will uh, mainly concentrate on the RTS and CTS only. That means just do with Ethernet, means just we will based on the time control. So whether the station B is ready to take the data or not, in that way only we are thinking. But there is no intermediate hardware part, that is access point is used here. So coming to PCF, point coordination function. So this point coordination function is an operational function which resides on the top of the mandatory DCF. So we already discussed this one. So the PCF is logically sits on the DCF. So both DCF and PCF both are working under the operational function only. So in this mode, the base station polls the other stations, ask if they have any frames to send. Since the transmission order is completely controlled by the base station and no collisions occur. So here the polling concept is included. So that means here the base station polls the other station. So that means it will ask the stations which are in within the range, any of the station is ready to transmit the packet. So the polling is done by the point coordinator, so that resides in the central access point. That means in DCF we are not using any access point, but in case of PCS it is using the access point. So the access point consists point coordinator which resides inside it and which is used to done the polling concept. So by using the polling means PC polls means this point coordinator polls the stations in a round robin fashion to provide access to the stations in the wireless network. So by using this poll concept, definitely the stations will understand which station is ready to transmit and which station is wants to keep calm. So here it provides a channel access to the station by using the poll and response method, thus eliminating the need of contention. That means what is the main purpose of this polling? What is the main function of this polling mean? To avoid the contention window. So to avoid the contention window, here we are using the poll. And the base station broadcast a beacon frame periodically. So what is this beacon frame? So beacon frame is nothing but it contains the system parameters such as hop sequence and dwell time, clock synchronization. So these three are controlled by the access point, which issues a special central control frame called beacon frame to initiate and repeat the polling system. So for repeating the polling system, we will maintain the beacon frame. So by using this beacon frame, we will control the all the stations, which system is ready to accept the data and which system is ready to transmit the packet. So base station also invites new stations to sign up for polling service. Once a station has signed up for polling service at a certain rate, it is guaranteed a certain fraction of the bandwidth. That means by using the polling system, means whenever the stations are means new stations are invited to sign up for polling services. Means we have n number of stations are there, so in that n number of stations, how many systems are ready for polling? So by using the polling system, we will select one system because at the same time n number of systems want to transmit the packet. So from that n number of systems, we need to select only one, because to avoid the collisions, we need to select one station which will transmit the packet. So for that, once a station has signed up for polling service at a certain rate, it is guaranteed a certain fraction of the bandwidth. That means whenever we are selecting a particular station with a by using a polling concept, it maintains a certain rate, means the bandwidth is maintained by that station. So what is bandwidth? The data transmission, the capacity of data transmission in form of bits per seconds. So here the point coordination function will completely eliminate the collisions. So how it will completely eliminate the collisions means by avoiding the contention window period, because during the contention window also there may be a possibility of collisions will occur. So to avoid those type of collisions, we included, this PCF coordination function introduce the concept of polling. So by using the polling, we will select only one, so that only one system will start transmitting the packet. So the remaining systems will keep calm until the station's transmission is over. So in this way, we will eliminate completely the collisions. So this is about IEEE 802.11 max sublayer.